Welcome to episode 5 of Rabbit Hole Reviews. Today we're taking a look at the FN FNX-45 Tactical. So what do you get with this exceptionally long name? Well, you pretty much get, in my mind, you pretty much get everything. So this is a new production handgun, unlike all the so far previous guns that I've reviewed that are out of production. This is current 2022 production FN. The street price on these is basically $1,200 and up. So that kind of puts it in context as far as what you're gonna get. A lot of things out there, and even in the handgun firearms world, you pay $1,200 and you really don't get a whole lot. You might pay for a name, or might pay for scarcity. But in this case, you pretty much get a handgun that is ready to go out of the box. And what do I mean by ready to go? Well, it has modern features like adjustable back straps, as you see here. That's not anything exceptional in today's market. Lots of handguns have that. Even Glocks do that now. But what else you get other than things like that is, of course, you get a full Picatinny rail on the dust cover for accessories. You get raised sights. As you can see, this has an extended barrel, and underneath those threads is a thread pitch of, I think, 0.587 by 28 per inch. Very nicely done. The sights are, as you can see, elevated. We'll take a look at those now real quick. Not only are they elevated for accounting for suppressor use, which they're assuming you're going to do, it also comes standard with Trigicon's night sights front and rear. A couple of other features, if you notice here, RMR cut. So you have the plate ready to go, any kind of micro dot you want to put on there. It's just plug and play, which for $1,200 is to be expected. So my view on something like this is, yes, you pay the $1,200 entry fee. So you buy once, cry once, as they say, but you don't have to do anything to this handgun. You simply add a shooter and ammunition, and it's ready to go out of the box. So in that role, I think FN really hit it out of the park with this gun. It is also fully ambidextrous, so if you'll see, it has a ambidextrous, not only a decocker and a safety, so you can carry it cock and lock like a 1911, but you can also decock it like, say, an H&K. So you have two modes of carry there, and it has an ambidextrous magazine release. You can see it's duplicated on the other side. The slide is actually made from stainless steel. They obviously put these Parkerized style finishes on there. So whether you get the flat dark earth version or this black version here, note that the slide is all stainless steel, as is the barrel. The barrel is stainless steel as well and is cold hammer forged. Has a twist rate of 1 turn and 16 inches. Right hand twist, if that means anything to you guys. The capacity, of course, it's 45 automatic, so 45 ACP, and you have a capacity of 15 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. So out the door for duty use or even home defense use, you're looking at 16 rounds ready to go. The claimed weight or published weight is 33.3 ounces. So in a little bit, we're going to put that on the scale to test it out. And of course, we're going to weigh it with a loaded magazine with 15 in the mag and +1 and without +1. So we can check to see what the actual street weight's going to be. The ammunition I'm going to use today is 230 grain full metal jacket, American Eagle, nothing fancy, just the kind of stuff that you carry at the range. The overall barrel length is 5.3 inches. The length of the handgun is 8.6 inches. It's 6.5 inches high and 1.58 inches wide. Trigger pull rating is 8.8 pounds to 12.1 pounds. We're going to go ahead and test that as well. And the sight radius is 6.4 inches. So this gun is definitely a handful. It's large, as to be expected. So with that footprint, you do get magazine capacity. Would I carry this handgun? Actually, depending on where I was carrying this and what I was doing, I would say yes, this is a carry option. It's a carry option, say if I had it in a shoulder holster and I had to wear a big heavy coat every day, if I lived somewhere where it was cold. A gun like this, you could easily conceal if you have the right clothing. If I lived in a warmer climate, probably not. Yes, you've got a lot of firepower, but the footprint is big, and it's not really going to be concealed. You may have it on you, but how concealable that's going to be is another thing. It also depends on your body type. For me, this would not be my number one choice to carry, but I would feel if I made some adaptations in the holster and that's the only gun I had, I would definitely feel safe in carrying it. Now, the reason I bought this gun, and I bought it recently, within the last year, I bought it as a bedside gun. So this is the kind of firearm where you have it in a static position in the house somewhere, wherever that may be, or a car, but probably a house. In my case, a home. And you've got the ammunition there, it's ready to go. You've got your 16 plus 1 or 15 plus 1 or whatever you're going to carry. It's ready to go with, of course, a tactical light attached and even a suppressor. You would have it ready to go out of the box. So the size of the gun's not going to matter as much if it's in your living room or in your bedroom. And so in that role, I think this is top tier, probably maybe the H&K USP 45 full size, or there are a couple other guns out there that are neck and neck, even a Glock 41, the 45 double stack, that has capacity as well. But there's just something about this handgun. You've got an external hammer to manipulate. You have different modes to carry it. You already have the raised sights as comes standard. It has the threaded barrel. You know, other guns that you buy that may have the capacity are not going to come out of the box like this. Now, granted, they're considerably less expensive, but if you were to modify those guns to this spec, you would be at the same price or more. So I think overall, these are excellent buys. And of course, as a range shooter, these are also excellent because they're very large, you know, loaded up. They're going to be heavy. We're going to see in a minute how many ounces this thing weighs with a full magazine. So as a shooter, I can tell you it shoots very smooth. 45 ACP is a relatively smooth shooting cartridge anyway. The recoil impulse is more of I would describe as a push and not a snap. So it's just a joy to shoot. As a range toy, they're excellent. As far as it being collectible, I think the jury's still out on that. This is a current production gun. You know, call me back in 10 or 15, 20 years, and we'll probably have a better idea of whether this is collectible or not. To me, this is, you buy this gun to use it. This is not a collector's item. That being said, I'm probably going to buy a second one, an FDE, and store that away. And have this one be the one that I use. So let's put it on the scale without further ado and see what the actual weight is. So 33.3 ounces is FN's published number with an empty magazine, as you see here in the magazine well. So let us take a look and see where we're at. I have a feeling we're going to be very close, probably spot on. All right, we will safety check, you know, as you do. Weapon is clear. So we're going to go ahead and we'll decock it and then see what we're working with. Okay, wow. So my scale comes up 33.25 ounces, which is just shy of the 33.3 published weight. So I'm going to say it's exactly right, and maybe my scale is slightly off. Well, okay, close enough for government work. Now, let us take a look at the weight of the handgun as it would be used in real life, right? If I were going to carry this, how much am I going to carry? So what we have here is the FN magazine. Notice the large base plate, which definitely helps. in loading and unloading. It's 230 grains, full metal jacket, as we talked about, and it's 15 rounds in this magazine. So that brings the weight up to 44.4 ounces. And if you were so bold to carry 15 plus one in the chamber, we'll add an additional round, bringing it to 45.15 ounces. So not light, right? Over 3 pounds. But what do you get for that? I mean, you get what you see. A big, bulky handgun. A couple of things I want to notice about it. If there's one criticism, and I always try to find one criticism in whatever we're looking at, just to show that I'm not completely biased. And obviously I like this gun because, you know, I'm reviewing it and I bought it with my own money. So that kind of tells you where my opinion lies. But if you look, so you have the benefit of an ambidextrous decocker and safety. The issue is, at least with my hands, and I'm sure people with big fat fingers like myself will run into the same problem. If you notice, you can put the weapon on safe in cock and lock form just fine. But when you go to decock the weapon, what happens is, as I have my thumb and I push down to decock, the controls are duplicated on the other side, right? Because it's ambidextrous. But what happens is, as you decock, it digs in to your finger on the other side of the handgun on your grip. And there's really no way to get around that other than to temporarily shift your grip and kind of remove your finger and give some space on the other side. So if you look, as you decock, we'll do it again. I can do it here, but as I do it on the opposite side, it digs in where it's not going to dig in here because there's more real estate. So that would be my one and only criticism of this gun. I wish FN would come out with something like a kit where you could not deactivate the ambidextrous safety, but just have it where it can be biased left or right. So if you're right-handed and you don't want the ambidextrous decocker on the far side of the handgun where you're not going to use it, you have a way to put in a different switch where it kind of deletes it. That's probably not going to happen. And again, your mileage may vary as far as whether it's an issue for you. But for my use, that is the one and only criticism I can really level at the FN FNX. I mean, these are beautiful handguns. They come loaded out of the box with everything you'd possibly ever need. Accuracy is exceptional. Reliability is exceptional. And also, well, I guess it makes sense for the price. They come with an accessory kit. I won't really call it an accessory kit. I will call it a very large carrying case, which I will now try to demonstrate in frame. So, as you see, it takes up the entire screen. I'll open it up for you guys. So in exchange for a pretty hefty entry fee to get this handgun, what you do get is a very nice soft padded case. So what ends up happening here is, well, you have pouches for 2 magazines down here. As you can see, they're stowed away. The weapon's going to come with 2 magazines. You're not going to get 3, but there's space on the far side of the flap to carry additional magazines. I think I have 6 magazines total. 1 on the weapon, 2 in the pouch, and then 3 off to the side. What you also have down here, I mean, aside from little miscellaneous pouches, which you can remove if you don't need them, which is nice. You have all of your back straps up here. It's all ready to go. So if you want to change it, I have not had to change mine, but it's designed to appeal to a large segment of the population. I think maybe if I change the back strap, I might be able to take some of the pressure off of that one finger, change my grip a little bit so I don't rub on the far side of the decocker. But again, not a big issue. I may have to fiddle with it a little bit. You also have a pouch here where this cable lock still is. This is a spot for your suppressor because FN thought ahead and figured most people are going to suppress this gun because it already has a threaded barrel. So this case is a very nice touch. I would kind of expect that level of accessorizing given the price. This is just if you have the money to buy it, even if you don't have the money to buy it, and you have to go out on a limb and prioritize a handgun a little bit more than you would normally do, I think the $1,200 entry fee is 100% worth it. Like I was saying earlier, you buy once and you cry once. And once you get the gun, shortly after you buy it, you're going to forget that you paid roughly double what you can get a lot of other 45s for, because you're getting at least double the capability out of the box. And FN uses their own parts. Obviously, you're not mix and matching other companies' parts and trying to bring a gun up to a certain spec. FN did that from the factory, and you just pay for it out of the box. This is a professional duty grade handgun. So if you could only have one gun, this would actually be a good option. I mean, obviously the one downside is that it's not the most ideal carry option, but in every other role, it excels. So there's that. That's going to pretty much wrap it up. What I will do before I cut this review short is we'll do some trigger pulls real quick. I don't want to leave without that being done. We'll knock that out and see if those numbers are true. I'm going to say they're pretty close to the published numbers that I rattled off at the beginning. So we'll check it, see that it's clear. It is. And then we'll go ahead and decock, demonstrate that again. So we'll do a double action series first. Let's see what we're working with. £12.4. 12.4 pounds again. And 11.4 pounds. So that number is correct. Let's see what the single action is going to be. I'm going to guess roughly half. .6. Very smooth for a polymer framed polymer trigger. £5. We'll do one more. And 5.8 pounds. So between 5 and 6 pounds roughly. So those numbers are accurate. They're very nice trigger pulls. So even if you think that 12 pounds or 6 pounds is heavy, it really doesn't feel that bad. Again, for a gun in this price range, I would expect the trigger to be, decent, and it is. So no complaints there. I definitely would not modify the trigger in any way. It's perfectly adequate. And the front sights, oddly enough, in closing, FN says that these sights are designed to cover a silhouette, a target silhouette at 25 meters. So I haven't tested that. Next time I take it out, I'm gonna see if the rear sight completely covers the width of a silhouette at 25 meters. I'm gonna guess it does, because FN's not gonna publish that information if it's not correct. But that's just something, that's a little bit of side information I slid in at the end. So now I'm gonna wrap this one up. We're just shy of 20 minutes. This has been a review of the Fabrique Nationale FN FNX-45 Tactical.